This is your sports TV station in Lorain, WLCS TV 20.
And welcome to General Johnnie Wilson as we have 7th grade girls volleyball for you today. It is Longfellow versus General Johnnie Wilson. And it will be General Johnnie Wilson 7th graders and coach Peggy Ham to start off by serving at Serenity O'Neill to serve the overhand serve. And this 7th grade match is underway. Both teams wearing the identical uniforms, but Peggy Ham, coach of General Johnnie Wilson, their team on the left with the ball now. They send it over to the Longfellow side, and they are coached by Kenneth Faria. And General Johnnie Wilson gets the first point. They lead 1-0. Rob Polinsky, Bob Schellenbaker here with you. Glad they could join us. And Serenity O'Neill with a good deep serve that's going to be played from the back row by Natasha Johnson. And that point will go to General Johnnie Wilson. They take a 2-0 lead here early on in game one. 7th grade girls volleyball today from General Johnnie Wilson Middle School in Lorain. Serenity O'Neill with another good serve that's played by Natalia Metzger. And again, another point for General Johnnie Wilson. They lead 3-0. Serve is wide, out of bounds, and that point will go to Longfellow. Makes it 3-1. Longfellow gets their first point, and now serving for Longfellow will be Zaria Rector. Rector's serve, her favorite subject is social studies. Underhand serve. And it's going to be played by General Johnnie Wilson. And from the back row, sending it over is Serenity O'Neill, and that's a point for General Johnnie Wilson. They lead 4-1 here in game one. Play 2 games out of 3. Games go to 25. You must win by 2 points. Don't worry, Bob. We won't have a test for you on this. That's okay. So as soon as I started saying that, Bob started to sweat a little bit. Serving now is Madison Mihal. Mihal with the serve. It's played over by Victoria McCown. Now the ball on the Longfellow side, right back to General Johnnie Wilson. And playing it back was Nevia White. And the point will go to General Johnnie Wilson. They lead 5-1. Again, Madison Mihal to serve. And Mihal's serve is played back to McCown. Sends it over to the Longfellow side. With the set is Neva White. And a point will go to Longfellow. They trail 5-2. Serving Nair Chambers. Chambers underhand serve. McCown plays it back. It'll be set for Longfellow, and trying to set it over on the third hit, unable to do so, was Natasha Johnson. It's 6-2 General Johnnie Wilson. Serving Trinity Gunder. Gunder with a good deep serve. And that point will go to Longfellow. 6-3 General Johnnie Wilson leads. Serving is White. Good deep serve, and that one is that in or out? That was in, so the ace makes it 6-4. 7th grade girls volleyball this afternoon for you on TV 20, WLCS Schools. And serving it, or hitting the serve back is Serenity O'Neill. Played very well, and that point will go to General Johnnie Wilson. As O'Neill with that deep return makes it 7-4. Serving is McCown. Line drive serve, and that's an ace. That is placed beautifully by McCown, and it makes it 8-4. McCown, again, another good deep serve. That one is going to be played by Chambers. Back over to the General Johnny Wilson side. Now sent back over to Longfellow, hitting it over the net. Don't have a 24. Young lady, I don't have that number, so we can't tell you who it is. But it is 9-4 as it was hit out of bounds. Serve goes into the net. Point for Longfellow. They cut the lead to 9-5 on the missed serve. That serve is wide and out of bounds. It'll be 10-5, General Johnny Wilson with the lead. Serving is Rachel Cancel. And Cancel's serve is out of bounds, so it's a point for Longfellow. They trail 10-6 here in the first game. Ariana Rodriguez to serve for the Longfellow 7th graders. They trail 10-6. Rodriguez serve is over, and it's an ace. Nobody there defensively for General Johnny Wilson. That ace for Longfellow cuts the lead to 10-7. Serve played by O'Neill, and that will be a point for General Johnny Wilson. As again, Serenity O'Neill with that point. Serving for General Johnny Wilson, Araya Bivens. Sent over on the third hit and played inbounds by Chambers. Nice job at Chambers with the point. Makes it 11-8. Longfellow still within 3. General Johnny Wilson scored 3 points of this match to lead 3-0, and they haven't fallen behind. The Longfellows kept it very close. They trail 11-8. Now serving to try to cut into that lead is Natalia Metzger. Return is in. That's a point for General Johnny Wilson. They lead 12-8. And now we go back to Serenity O'Neill, who served the first 3 points of this game. She goes back now to serve once again with her team out in front 12-8. Good deep serve that will be hit out of bounds as Rodriguez and Johnson both kind of tried to play that, and they combined to hit it out of bounds. They talk things over now to see whose ball that should have been. 13-8, General Johnny Wilson lead is 5, their biggest lead here in game 1. And that one is miss-hit and out of bounds. It's 14-8. So General Johnny Wilson continues to do well when Serenity O'Neill serves. O'Neill's serve will be wide. It's 14-9. That point goes to Longfellow. Getting ready to serve, trailing 14-9. Serving is Rector. There's the set, and putting it over the net. And getting the point will be Araya Bivens, 15-9. General Johnny Wilson, 7th graders with the lead. We're in game 1. Again, you play to 25. You must win by 2. And we play 2 games out of 3. So General Johnny Wilson in game 1 out front 15-9. Rob Polinsky here. Bob Schlumbaker doing all the hard work, doing the pictures for you, bringing this into your homes. Whether you're on WLCS TV 20 or maybe you're watching on YouTube. Serving Madison Mihal. Her serve just gets over the net, and that point will go to General Johnny Wilson. They lead 16-9. Mihal with a serve. That is sent by Metzger out of bounds. Point will go to General Johnny Wilson. They lead 17-9. Hall serve and going to her knees to try to get that as Rodriguez played it, but a teammate couldn't help her out, so it's 18-9. Rodriguez hit it, but it still fell on the side of Longfellow, so General Johnny Wilson has doubled up Longfellow 18-9 here in game one of the 7th grade girls volleyball game. After this, we'll have the 8th grade young ladies. And that one is played out of bounds. White with the hit, it goes out of bounds, and General Johnny Wilson's lead is their biggest at 19-9. Then we're going to get a timeout from the Longfellow coach, Kenneth Faria, as his team trails 19-9. Telling you about some of these young ladies for Longfellow. They provided us some information, so we want to let you know that for Nieva White, her favorite subject is math. Ariana Rodriguez, social studies. Natalia Metzger likes reading. Madeline Tobakash is her favorite subject is math. Natasha Johnson enjoys science. Azaria Rector is in the social studies. And Savannah Scott is science happens to be her favorite subject. These are the young ladies that play for Longfellow for Coach Kenneth Faria. (20-9) is that serve is not hit over by Longfellow. So General Johnny Wilson now 5 points away from a 1-0 lead. Longfellow plays ahead, and on the third hit, they're able to get it over. There comes the set, and McCown will hit it over, and that's deep and out of bounds, too far. So a good play by Longfellow, letting that ball go out of bounds, hit by Victoria McCown. They get the point, and they trail 20-10. And that will let Chambers to serve for Longfellow, her team trailing 20-10. Longfellow on the right side of your television, and the General Johnny Wilson 7th graders on the left. Chambers' serve goes off the top of the net, out of bounds. General Johnny Wilson gets the point, and they lead 21-10. Serving now is Trinity Gunder, her team up 21-10. Line drive serve played very nicely, but out of bounds, 22-10 as it was hit wide and out of bounds. But a nice job by Rector to get that back over on that line drive serve. And it was very close to being in bounds, but unable to do so. Again, that serve is going to be an ace as it falls in front of Chambers, 23-10, and General Johnny Wilson 2 points away from taking a 1-0 lead here. Another serve that's very well done. Played back by Longfellow. And now dinked over beautifully. And hitting that was Araya Bivens, and now it's game point. So Bivens faked out the Longfellow 7th graders. I think they thought she would set it. Instead, she dinked it over the front row, front of the back row. Well done, 24-10. And for game point on the second, they've got to get it over on this third hit. They're able to do so, and they're going to get the point. Nice job. Again, 24 for Longfellow. We don't have that name. I apologize for that, but we didn't get that name from the coach. It wasn't provided, but 24-11. The Longfellow 7th graders come in with a record of 8-2 on the year. And the ball is hit out of bounds by Serenity O'Neill. It's 24-12. Longfellow still down by 12. So it remains game point, and serving is Nevia White. McCown high, comes off a ceiling beam, and it falls on the General Johnny Wilson side. Another point for Longfellow. They trail 24-13. After this game, we'll take a timeout before we get to game two. There's an ace, miscommunication on the General Johnny Wilson side, as it's 24-14. And Coach Peggy Ham wants a timeout to talk about it with her team, as they're at game point, but they have given up 4 straight points to Longfellow. They take a timeout to make it 24-14 as you see Coach Slembaker looking in on the huddle there. Well, forgive me, Bob, but this time of year, I think every other person I talk to, his name's Coach. So, you know, I've called people that I shouldn't have more than you, Coach. So you'll have to get over it. Did you? You coach baseball? Hot stove baseball. Probably won a ton of World Series, didn't you? You're like the greatest hot stove baseball coach in the history of Wellington. That's why they built the statue of you. Thrilling story. 24-14, serving for game point following the timeout. McCown sends it back over to the Longfellow side. And they'll send it right back to General Johnny Wilson, played ahead. And on the third hit, Serenity O'Neill hits it over. That's the longest rally of the game by far. And there's a miss hit, and game 1 goes to General Johnny Wilson. So General Johnny Wilson wins game 1 by a final of 25-14. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back for game 2, 7th grade girls volleyball. General Johnny Wilson and Longfellow. You're watching WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
Hi, I'm Khalil Brown and I am 16 in the 10th grade at Lorain High School. I'm a pre-engineering student in Lorain High Career Tech Education Program. Math is by far my favorite subject. This drew me into pre-engineering. Pre-engineering is mostly calculating numbers and computer software downloading. You get to download stuff into robots and make them do stuff. I took pre-engineering for the first and second semester, in particular CNC milling and drilling classes. I learned how to mill into wood and wax blocks. In CNC, we drill into wood and make frames and pictures and plaques. The class is very fun, but it's a lot of hard work too, because it's a lot of math and science and there's no time to goof off. When you walk in, there's tons of different machines like our robots that do stuff. And we make sure we're wearing safety goggles when we're drilling metals and things. I feel good working on machines because it comes natural to me. But even if you're not good in math and science, you will still have a lot of fun because our instructor, Mr. Bogan, walks you through it all. He's a great teacher. If you don't know how to do it, he'll take the time to explain it to you. You make sure you have a lot of fun programming machines and robots. I am glad to be in this program because now I know what I want to do with my life, and it's all thanks to Lorain High Career Tech Pre-Engineering Program.
We make Marines who overpower the desire to quit with the perseverance to prevail. Not for glory, but for honor. For a code that isn't written or spoken, but lived. It's what we do. It's who we are. It's the battle cry of our fighting spirit. Battles won. See all the battles Marines fight to win at marines.com.
Longfellow will start game 2 by serving. It will be Azaria Rector serving. And game 2 is underway. General Johnny Wilson with a 1-0 lead. They won the first game 25-14. And for Longfellow, they get their first point. That means it's their first lead today. They lead 1-0. General Johnny Wilson scored the first 3 points in game 1. They led 5-1 and 6-2. They never were tied, never fell behind. So that was the first lead of the day for Longfellow with that first point of game 2. Battle at the net, and it goes into the net. It'll be a point for General Johnny Wilson as Chambers was unable to hit it over for Longfellow. We're tied at 1. Now serving for General Johnny Wilson and Coach Peggy Ham, who's been the head coach for 15 years, it's Serenity O'Neill. O'Neill's serve is going to be played by Metzger and hit over on the third hit by White. Nice job by White. Played by General Johnny Wilson, and sending it over is going to be Bivens, and that point goes to General Johnny Wilson. They lead 2-1. Line drive serve is going to be played, but unable to set that for a teammate is Natasha Johnson. She had a long way to go to get there, wasn't able to set up her teammate, so it's now 3-1. General Johnny Wilson leads. Set at the net for the Longfellow 7th graders, and the hit goes into the net. It's 4-1. It's a good set by White, but Longfellow unable, the Longfellow Titans unable to get it over the net. They trail 4-1. Serenity O'Neill continues to serve for General Johnny Wilson. This is their home court. As we're at the General Johnny Wilson Middle School, there's an ace. It's now 5-1. And very similar to game one where General Johnny Wilson gets the early lead. Good deep serve. Played from the back row and well done. McCown sends it back over. Again, it is sent over back-to-back good hits by Rector for Longfellow. The set for White, and a hit will go into the net. It's 6-1, General Johnny Wilson with the lead. Out there for the first time in this game, Lindsay Schulich for General Johnny Wilson. She wears number 5 on her jersey. And her teammate Serenity O'Neill to serve. O'Neill's serve is going to be played. Rector from the back row sends it over, and that goes in front of Schulich. And the point for Longfellow, they trail 6-2. 7th grade girls volleyball today on WLCS TV 20 alongside Bob Schlumbaker. I'm Rob Polinsky. And the highlight of the day so far, hearing about when Bob was the hot stove coach at Wellington Baseball and got him all the way to the state championship game. Of course, Bob told me they were robbed worse than the Browns were the other day in Oakland, or else his Wellington hot stovers would have won a state championship. Play at the net. Sent over on the third hit by Rodriguez for Longfellow for General Johnny Wilson. Off the top of the net and inbounds. Well done by Bivens. 7-2. Just off the top of the net, and then it still stayed in bounds. Had to have both those things for General Johnny Wilson, and for Bivens on that hit, she got him. And that means her teammate Madison Mihal will serve. Mihal's serve, it is hit into the net. It's 8-2 by Rector. And, of course, Bob has to correct me, tells me that his team was a combination of Wellington and Firelands. Mihal's serve doesn't get over the net. It's a point for Longfellow. They trade 8-3. Bob, if you're involved, they care. We all care about you, Bob. For Longfellow, the serve by Nevia White. Hit goes into the net by McCown. Point for Longfellow. They have back-to-back points, and they trail 8-4 as they try to stay in game 2 here. It's played to the back row and hit into the net that time by Bivens. And it's 8-5 as Longfellow has scored 3 straight points to cut an 8-2 deficit to 8-5. And McCown with a little miscommunication with Mihal. Longfellow makes it 8-6, 4 straight points now. Serving is White. Played back over, and at point, we're going to say the General Johnny Wilson lady was into the net, so that will give the point to Longfellow. General Johnny Wilson would have gotten the point, but young lady there in the middle was hit the net. Can't do that. I believe it was Trinity Gunder. Makes it 8-7. Longfellow now with an opportunity to tie as White serving for her 5th straight point. That serve, that's in, and we are tied at 8. General Johnny Wilson players were letting that one go out of bounds, but it was ruled inbounds. We're tied at 8. Good deep serve. It's played by Bivens. It goes into the net, and Longfellow leads for the first time since 1-0. They lead 9-8. Give them credit coming all the way back. They've scored 7 straight points. And Peggy Ham and General Johnny Wilson wants a timeout. 7 straight points for Longfellow after trailing 8-2. They now lead 9-8. And during this timeout, we want to remind you that Lorain City Schools Television, WLCS TV 20 on Spectrum Cable. If you are watching on Spectrum Cable, it's my understanding that that is now on your television at 1025, 1025. is that number, way to see WLCS TV 20 if you're on Spectrum Cable. You can also check out YouTube anytime you want for Lorain Schools TV 20. Follow us on Twitter at LCS_TV 20. You can like Lorain Schools TV 20 on Facebook and get a chance to win some great prizes. And check out Lorain City Schools TV 20 on Facebook for all your entertainment and informational needs, not just sports, but of course they have school board meetings and concerts and all kinds of different features on WLCS TV 20. Rob Polinsky along with Bob Schlembaker following the timeout. It's going to be another point for Longfellow, and all of a sudden they have a 10-8 lead, and it's their biggest lead of this match. Nevia White serving. She's done a good job for Longfellow. Her team was down 8-3 when she got the serve. Now they lead 10-8. Now 11-8 as there's an ace. Longfellow trying to come back and get a win and send this to a third game. There's General Johnnie Wilson. If they come back and win this one, they would get the two-game sweep. Played at the net, and Bivens with a hit into the net. Point for Longfellow. They lead 12-8. 10 straight points for the Longfellow 7th graders after trailing 8-2. They lead 12-8. And a miss hit on the serve. It is played by Mihal and McCown. There seems to be a little lack of communication with those two young ladies. And it's 13-8. And the serves by White have been very effective. Underhand serve is played ahead. And McCown again with a miscommunication. This time it's with Gunder. 14-8 Longfellow leads. Longfellow trying to even this at a game apiece. Serve is O'Neill. She'll play it ahead. And that point will go to General Johnnie Wilson. Nice job by Serenity O'Neill. Ends that run of 12 consecutive points for Longfellow. And General Johnnie Wilson finds themselves trailing 14-9. And serving, it will be Trinity Gunder. Gunder with a good deep serve. It's going to be played, and a miss hit on the serve, a double hit, is going to go against Rodriguez and give that point to General Johnnie Wilson. They trail 14-10. Coach Faria for Longfellow 7th graders talking with coach or with the umpire, asking the official about the point. And now the serve is going to be not able to be handled by the Longfellow 7th graders. It's 14-11 off the nice serve by Trinity Gunder. So General Johnnie Wilson now trailing by 3, trying to get back into game 2. Gunder, good deep serve, and that is going to be not able to be played ahead. Is trying to run that down was Johnson off the play from the back row by Rector, but Johnson couldn't get there, and it's 14-12. Longfellow's lead is cut to 2. So we've got a good game here in game 2. And there's an ace, and it's now 14-13. So we'll have a substitution, and for Longfellow, coming out will be Johnson. General Johnnie Wilson with a chance to tie here. Gunder, another good deep serve, and that is played, and we are tied at 14 as the Longfellow 7th graders weren't able to get over there. So 6 straight points for Johnnie Wilson after 12 in a row for Longfellow. So long runs in this match. And was that tipped or not? Nope, that was out of bounds on the serve. And that point will go to Longfellow, and Longfellow leads 15-14. Longfellow serving. It's It'll be played by Bivens. She sends it back over, and that point goes to General Johnnie Wilson. We're tied at 15. So this game much closer than the first game, in which General Johnnie Wilson won by a score 25-14. Here in game 2, we are tied at 15, and serving will be Victoria McCown. McCown gets it over the net, and that's going to be a point as Nevia White tried to play it unsuccessfully. Couldn't pass it to a teammate, and General Johnnie Wilson leads 16-15. Line drive serve. Played by Rector to Rodriguez. Hits it into the net, 17-15, General Johnnie Wilson. So after trailing 14-8, they have rallied to take a 17-15 lead. 9-1. General Johnnie Wilson has outscored Longfellow. Rodriguez plays it, but she plays it out of bounds wide. 18-15, General Johnnie Wilson. And we're going to have a timeout for the Longfellow coach. Each team has taken one timeout here in game number 2, as it's 18-15. General Johnnie Wilson 7th graders have the lead. Coming up following this, we'll have the 8th grade game. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can just hit your reset. Of course, if you're watching on WLCS TV 20, we'll have the 8th grade game after this. Again, Lorain City Schools Television, WLCS TV 20 on Spectrum Cable. That's channel 1025 on Spectrum Cable. You can check out Lorain Schools TV 20 on Facebook for all your entertainment and informational needs. Follow us on Twitter at LCS_TV 20. Check out that YouTube station. Over 1 million hits, says Joe Bach. That's Lorain Schools TV 20, and like Lorain Schools TV 20 on Facebook and win some great prizes. Alongside Bob Schlumbaker, I'm Rob Polinsky. Glad you could join us. For girls 7th grade volleyball between Longfellow and the home team, the General Johnnie Wilson 7th graders, as we are at the General Johnnie Wilson Middle School in Lorain, which of course is right behind George Daniel Field. 18-15. The serve by McCown will be played by Mihal, and she's unable to get it over or pass it to a teammate. Point to Longfellow. It's 18-16. General Johnnie Wilson's lead is 2. And serving will be Ariana Rodriguez. Again, her favorite subject is social studies. Her serve, Mihal goes back to play it, plays it wide, out of bounds, 18-17. Rodriguez will attempt to tie it here. Her serve just gets over the net, played back by O'Neill. Rodriguez goes to a knee to get it. Sent over, O'Neill again, plays it back, and that is going to be in. And the point goes to General Johnnie Wilson, and they lead 19-17. The Longfellow 7th graders thought that was going to go wide out of bounds. They let it fall. It fell inbound, so that's 19-17, and serving will be Lindsay Schulich. Schulich serve. Played back, sent over, and that was well wide and out of bounds. Point for Longfellow. They trail 19-18 with the serve. Natalia Metzger to serve. Metzger serves, Mihal hits it, and hits it wide out of bounds. We're now tied at 19. Hit into the net. Point will go to General Johnnie Wilson, and they lead at 20-19. We have had 5 ties at 1, 8, 14, 15, and 19. Now it's 20-19. General Johnnie Wilson leading by 1, and with the serve. Again, you must win by 2 points or more. Sent back over to the Longfellow side. That's wide out of bounds. Point to General Johnnie Wilson. They lead 21-19. And going back to serve is Araya Bivens. Araya Bivens serves. Good deep serve. Rodriguez on the second hit, puts it over the net, played right back to the Longfellow 7th graders. into the net on that set attempt. It's 22-19, and General Johnny Wilson is 3 points away from the match, and we'll get a substitution coming in for the Longfellow 7th graders, Natasha Johnson. Well, the scoreboard says 21-20 Longfellow, but it should be 22-19. Now we have an ace. And to me, they got some problems over there at the scores table, but again, they're giving that point to. Okay, that one went to General Johnny Wilson, so they lead at 22-20. Somewhere I missed a point. Anyway, it's 22-20, and it will be a timeout here for Longfellow. Bob Schellenbaker, always able to find my mistakes, and he did a good job of doing that, finding the mistake, and General Johnny Wilson leads by a score of 22-20. As we have the second timeout now for Longfellow. They are out of timeouts. General Johnny Wilson still has one remaining in this game. The first game went to General Johnny Wilson 25-14. According to the scoreboard, they lead this one 22-20. And again, you play 2 games out of 3. You play to 25. You must win by 2 or more. And serving for General Johnny Wilson is Araya Bivens. Bivens serve, and that one's going to be a point, 23-20, General Johnny Wilson. 2 points away from the match. Bivens with the serve. Played ahead, and on the third hit, unable to put it over, and we're at match point. General Johnny Wilson out in front, 24-20. They won game 1, 25-14. And Araya Bivens with an opportunity to serve the match for her team. Bivens, deep serve, and that one is going to be the match. Is unable to hit it was Metzger. It goes out of bounds off her, and the match goes to General Johnny Wilson. They win it 2-0, 25-14, 25-20. It's going to do it for 7th grade volleyball today. And stay tuned. If you're watching on YouTube, just reset that. You'll get the 8th grade game. And if you're watching on WLCS TV 20 on Spectrum Cable, the 8th grade match will be coming up. But for Bob Schellenbaker, this is Rob Polinsky. Thanks for joining us. And you've been watching WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
This has been a production of Lorain City Schools TV 20 WLCS.